Colleagues, I'll make all these slides available to you later in the day, so never feel like it's about discussion. You don't need to take notes. But of course, if you'd like to, you're welcome to. So could I ask, what were some of the things that I know it's only a short period of time, and we're going to have lots of time for discussion later, but of those areas you could work on, what were the areas that you thought really stuck out for what India should be focusing on at this point? Maybe we'll start at the back. What did you speak about? So I'm just going to point towards the back of the room now, and we'll listen up to this table here, if that's okay. Go for it.
Teacher development.
Our topic number 1 for today, teacher development. Singapore says our system will never rise above the quality of our teachers. Let's not bother doing preparing teachers. Let's just bring in technology. No. Teachers are at the core. Yes?
Yeah, I just want to say teachers and leadership, because everything else, whether it's globally benchmark standards or data and accountability and managing change, etc., stems from the people.
So it's here. This is the hard work. Because I can, as a policymaker, change the curriculum. I'm going to give you a new data system. But dealing with people, that's the hard stuff. Thank you very much. Other thoughts? Anyone just want to share? What were the big ideas that came from your table? Yeah? Yes? Do you mind just saying, hi, I'm this person from this company or school?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Sriram. I'm from Pearson Education. As a table, we focus, I think we were a little eclectic, but since other teams have called on one from human capital, we focus on structure and organization. We want to touch on the capacity to manage, change and engage communities. We want to bring in a sense of teaching, learning across the community. And so it's very important to be able to engage the different stakeholders in the ecosystem. That way the learning is continuous and progressive.
Fantastic. And I loved how you're talking about you engage beyond the school. Sometimes at the policy level we talk about schools being the solution to everything. But actually the majority of the variables that account for student performance lie outside the school. What do? Do we give up? No, we engage that community, engage that context. Bring them in. The school as a learning commons is some of the language we're using in the United Kingdom now. That it's a place where all the community come and to build their capacity for learning. Fantastic. 1 or 2 other thoughts at this table. Was there anything that came up particularly in your discussions?
We thought we needed to start with every child on the agenda, because we have to make that priority, and then we'll have to.
This is the big one that separates the great from the good systems. There's many good systems that have had high quality but low equity. But a great system always puts every child on the agenda all the time and finds way to bring education to those young people. Now, you are the biggest and youngest country on the planet. No one has ever dealt with challenges of this size before. But every child on the agenda all the time as a design principle for our work. Third big idea. So number 1, you design for learning. Number 2, you learn and apply the global lessons. But number 3, we have to be willing to lead radical innovation for learning as well. India is a country of 1.2 billion people. Huge amount of percentage of that population is young. In fact, you've got one of the biggest youth bulges in the world, an incredible opportunity for what you call a demographic dividend. But we need to grow learning quickly. We can't just take the trajectories that have worked in Singapore and South Korea, because it's taken them 40 years. So if we wait 40 years, the youth bulge, well, they'll be 40 or 50. And we'll be educating their children very well, but it will be very difficult for us because they won't have been literate and numerate. We won't have engaged with the communities. We will have left it too late. We'll leave future reformers with huge challenges. So we have to do it. We have to apply the lessons, but we have to be willing to innovate, not just follow the paths of other places. And so we need to lead radical innovation for learning. And I call innovation applying human ingenuity to the relentless pursuit of better. Finding new ways, new paths that haven't been done before. Yes?
I just want to...
Would you mind introducing yourself?
Yes. My name is Venkat Maturi. I run a non-profit called Junior Achievement. My colleague Ramesh also is here. Simon, let me just kind of be a bit provocative.
Good.
May I tell you that I believe all the options that you presented on the slide before may not work. It's ring fencing. Let me quote two things. One from the PISA report which you're associated with. One of the outcomes of the PISA report was there's no solution which any country can pick from another country. Any solution, any intervention has to be very local. It has to be ground level. That's one from the PISA report. There's another I may like to add. Is there a presupposition that education and learning needs to be within schools and by teachers? If that's the presupposition...
What's the presupposition? Say that one more time so everyone can hear it.
Is there a presupposition that learning and education has to be within the construct of a school and by people called teachers?
Okay, thank you so much.
And if we presuppose that, then this entire discussion is within certain boundaries, and that itself is non-radical.
Thank you. So the first thing I'd say is this is wonderful. This is exactly why we've got you in the room, because we want to, and I'm going to not answer all of this right away. But the first thing to say is these are not initiatives or strategies. Yes, they are boxed, but that's just conceptually to help us. This doesn't say how you get great people. It doesn't say what concept of great leadership fits for Delhi versus Mumbai versus Bangalore versus other areas. It doesn't say this is the data system and educational assessment system you should use. It just says these are the components. But what PISA does tell us is that you need a whole system reform. You can't just pick one. So even though I said choose one, what PISA would tell you is the best systems do all of these. It's a whole system thing. So I think the first thing I'm saying, I'm pushing back a little bit and saying, no, I'm not giving you solutions. I'm saying work these areas. Secondly, I'm saying you don't copy from another country, but you learn their paths and use that for your own thinking. But I'm so glad you've just said that you are limiting your thinking by talking about schools, because I utterly agree with you. And that's why I don't want to limit the discussion to what people have done before. And I want to talk about radical redesign. We've got the hole-in-the-wall people here today. A whole model of learning that doesn't involve teachers and doesn't involve schools. We've got technologists and entrepreneurs who will tell you here we could have an institutional bypass, pop straight over schooling for many of our young people, maybe. With mobile phone technology, new resources, we may have to radically rethink who is a teacher. Do we need an older individual in the room who's been trained at university? Or could we have a combination of teacher through technology, teacher through other students, teacher through community? So I really appreciate you pushing our thinking, and can you make sure you keep doing that all day? But I agree with you. I agree with you. We need to be radical, or we will not get there quick enough. Go for it. Do you want to yeah.
My thought goes back to hi. My thought is pertaining to the fact that we want to change itself, right? We start with the premise saying that everything's wrong. So whenever we're talking about change, we want to change everything. We don't hold back and look at what is going well. I think some part of the day should be devoted to some things that are going well in this country. Let's accept it that no matter what, however we look at our educational system, it has delivered. And there are some things very innately beautiful about the Indian educational system. We need to hold back at times, look at what's working, and not change that. A lot of times, in our effort to bring in the new, we kind of undo all the good things that have already been done.
Great point. I agree wholeheartedly with you, and I'm sorry if it's come across in any way. I'm saying there's wonderful diversity in the sector, wonderful things going on already. And what we want to do as change agents is to scale up what's already working. Really, really, two fantastic points. Can we both thank them for their contributions so far? Thank you very much. I'm going to finish this area, and then we're going to hear from you, Vice Chancellor, if that's okay. Thank you so much for your presence. And so sometimes we're going to be pushed because things aren't working. But sometimes we're going to be pushed because things are good and they could be better. We're going to scale them up. And so when we reimagine and redesign and reinvent, it's not to totally jump away from what's great, as we've just heard from Sultan, but to take what's already working, to take what's unique, not to become like Singapore or become like South Korea or to become like Finland, but to be uniquely and beautifully Indian in the way that you design your system of education, the way that you move it forward. And so we want to take high quality, we want to include high equity, but we need to do that at low cost. And it's in India, where in other sectors we're seeing you're finding ways to do all three. Normally you only choose high quality and maybe high equity, but it costs me a lot of money. I need to find ways to do all three. But we need to not have silver bullet solutions, not think we throw everything out and start again, but to build on what works, to build on the people we already have in the system, and to find ways to keep moving it forward. And so we sent out in some of the materials, what we want to do is, yes, there's a system that's functioning, many of which is going well. We want to keep improving that. But the innovation path says there's new ways to get there. That indeed there's pioneers working at this intersection of the old and the new. The entrepreneurs, the social entrepreneurs, the radical practitioners who are thinking about new ways. And what we want to do together is to really bring out the great things that are already happening, the pioneers that are already showing great things in India, and find ways to scale it through policy, through investment, and through a new narrative that captures people in the work. Because we're no longer stuck by old technology. 1995, we had none of these things. Now we all carry around a supercomputer in our hands. And it's just the beginning of where technology is going. We have powerful new tools available to some, but increasingly to many. And we're showing around the world through places like Khan Academy that there's opportunities to take good basic instruction and to put it online. And here amongst us we have entrepreneurs who will share later on about what they're doing in a uniquely Indian way, using a similar example but making it personalized to different schools. And so really I'm interested is, can India be a learning lab for education next practice? To take what you're already doing well and to generate new solutions, as you have in other industries. We have Tata Motors here together. No one in the West believed that you could make a car for less than 10,000 US dollars. Now, whether you want to drive a Nano or not, that's up to you. But you could for just 3,000 US or less. Sagatra Mitra, UK Indian man, coming up with the hole-in-the-wall experiment. No one in education across the US and Europe would have thought of that. And I think there's new models, new innovations involving technology and just involving new ways to use people, to bring them together, to solve problems, to hack and to make new ways of doing things. So from me to you, I'm really looking forward to the whole day that we have together as we bring together this new innovation ecosystem of different people from different sectors, as we think about designing for learning, focusing on the global lessons, but not being stuck by them, and building on what's already wonderful about the Indian system, what's wonderful about the mindset of innovation we see in other sectors, and bringing that to bear on the opportunities and the challenges of creating a world-class system for all. So we're going to now hear from the Vice-Chancellor, and we thank you very much for being here. And I'm now going to pass it over to you, Ms. Beer, to welcome him formally.